So, to answer some of your questions that I just received from somebody in the one of the pages, I just wanted to take a minute to just be brief about it. The first question is, where do I stand on Alabama prison issues? First of all, I'm an advocate who's been doing this for many years. I believe in restoration. I believe in second chances. As a mom who has spent many, many, many years with a troubled child who, as a teenager, got into a lot of trouble, I never gave up on my son. And I don't believe most moms out there do. I believe that it's just something that is bestowed inside of us to naturally and instinctively want to hope for our kids to be better. And the same should go for people who get into trouble. When you're 17 years old, you should not have a life sentence plastered on you for the rest of your life because of a poor decision you made at an impulse because you're a thriving teenager. My son in particular, he couldn't remember curfew, cleaning his room, or changing deodorant. So I'm a firm believer that people make decisions in the rest when they're young without thinking. And I'm currently helping a particular man because he has a life sentence based on something he did when he was 17 that was held against him. And he did it for a good reason, not justifying it, but at 17, his reason was good enough for him, and he should not be held accountable for the rest of his life. When people are in prison and they know that they're going to be in there for life, they basically give up hope. They have nothing to live for, they have nothing to wake up to. And so bad behavior it exasperates itself and people just turn on each other because it's all you know and it becomes about survival instead of about hope and opportunity. And so yes, I am a huge advocate for reentry programs and for good time behaviors. I am a big person who wants to do things with community services and give them ways and means to give back. I have a problem with the mental health not being a big issue in Alabama and them closing down so many facilities because I'm a firm believer that mental health is a big problem in our state. I also believe, based on my own experiences, and I'll tell you one particular quick story. A woman sat on a dilapidated porch in a rural community, very poor, poverty stricken community, and basically told me that she doesn't wake up every day hoping that her child will get into a good college. She wakes up in fear that he'll end up in prison. And that breaks my heart because we don't give hope to these young people. We don't give them opportunities, and people become byproducts of bad circumstances. And then we all know as we age, we gain wisdom and we grow and we learn and we evolve. And I believe we even do that in prison. And so opportunities for them should be there. There's an injustice that's going on all around us. There's bad behaviors, but there's bad choices being made by leadership who are failed leaders who have let us down and have not done the right things. Prisons for profit has become a monopolized industry of profit and opportunities for people to advance their own personal agendas at the expense of the least among us. And I am a firm believer that the injustices and the inequalities are racial biased. And I believe that if we were to take the time to go back and imprison all of the people who are recently violating laws, we would probably end up letting a lot more people out of prison for equal to or less than offenses. I don't believe that the time is equal to the crime for all genders and races. And so, yeah, I've got a problem with it. I am a big advocate in prison reform, justice reform, and I'm not afraid to speak up. My biggest problem right now is that we don't have incumbents down there who are fighting for the cause and helping candidates who need to become elected so they can go down there and become allies. One of the other things that in 2017, when the law was passed with the Secretary of State to allow people in prison to still vote if they did not commit moral turpitude, we stopped them and we didn't tell people that they still are allowed to vote. And until prisoners and inmates exercise their rights to vote and put themselves out there and create a movement of inmates being able to vote, we're never going to fix this because the people on the outside are not the ones making decisions to put you to change leadership. So we've got to do something about that. We've got to get inmates that are willing to also vote because the people out here are not for it. And that's my bottom line. And I don't know what else we can do until we get microphones and we get some power and some movement in removing career politicians who see this as an opportunity to take advantage of the least among us. And it's never going to stop until we all come together and do this and trust each other to get it done. But I am a firm believer that criminal justice reform needs to be a priority and that there is an injustice and an inequality to certain races and genders in the state of Alabama.